It's time for the Doug Garrison Show. Tonight I talk to a mental health expert about how people with mental illness are and should be treated. The issue of vaccinations and flu shots is important. I have someone in to talk about that. And hospice care is something that touches many of us. We learn about that and an upcoming fundraiser to support the Upper Peninsula Hospice Foundation. I think there's going to be some dancing, so stick around. The Doug Garrison Show starts now.
Tell the host 2 minutes. Stand by live to tape. Lighting to show level, please. Confirm front of house sound, PFL. Roll tape on masters, channel to places. Alright, let's clear the set. Cue John music, open stage mics, standby effects, standby CG. Standby to open on 3, 2. Alright folks, let's have a good show. Stand by, roll it in.
Thanks for joining us here live almost on the Doug Garrison Show from the studios of Thunder and Lighting Video Production. For those of you joining us at home on Charter Channel 12 and Fox UP, welcome. We hope you enjoy tonight's show. We're going to do everything from head to toe. Yes, we have some things that are cerebral and some things that have to do with the feet. I'm not sure what the term is for that, but we have 3 doctors on the show tonight talking about 3 very different healthcare disciplines, all very important issues that I think you're going to find important and enlightening. We're also going to talk about an upcoming fundraiser that has to do with dancing. It's called Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style, and this is going to be your chance to save the date. We're going to have some fun with it, but beware, tomorrow's the Ides of March, so you want to make sure that we do everything right and enjoy tonight's show because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Stick around. We'll be right back with the Doug Garrison Show.
We believe success comes through more than just hard work and determination. It's about the belief that you get out of life whatever you put into it. This is why the Gilbert Dairy strives to provide you with the highest quality dairy products possible. And with 70 farms located throughout the Upper Peninsula, Gilbert is more than just a name, it's a lifestyle. So from our family to yours and throughout the communities of the Upper Peninsula, we'd like to thank you for your loyalty and support. Gilbert Dairy is helping the UP grow 1 gallon at a time.
When the city seems too far away, discover a place that time forgot, but you never will. The Landmark Inn. We've been waiting for you.
Okay, well, get us started here. You know, one of the advantages to living in a town with a university like Northern Michigan University is having access to resources, not only just the activities and events that go on, but the people that are employed by the university. And we're going to take advantage of that tonight. We have, in fact, 3 guests tonight in tonight's show with doctor in front of their name. And I think we're going to be able to take advantage of some of their expertise. We're going to start out with Dr. Mary Pelton-Cooper from the psychology department at Northern, also an independent clinical psychologist. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
I asked you to come on because you had a letter to the editor some time ago kind of addressing the Newtown tragedy, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us, even just little old me in Marquette, Michigan, to make sure that this issue does not drop. You know, one of the things when that tragedy occurred, we said, we're not going to let it die this time. We're not going to let this issue go away. But we know over time it does. And it's already, I see it's already started to go away, certainly from the way it was in the week immediately following that event. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important for all of us to step up and make sure that we remain involved and engaged so that we try to avert these types of problems in the future. Your article and your background comes from the mental health issues. Certainly one of the things that gets a lot of the buzz is the gun issue. Right. And people say, you know, we have to limit guns, and that's where Washington has put their efforts. Mm-hmm. But maybe, and I think it's important, I think guns are part of it, but the mental health issue is probably the most important part of this because, as we know, regardless of what type of weapons are available, people with mental health issues can do all kinds of damage if we're not addressing those issues.
Well, one thing I want to say, first of all, is that most people with mental health issues are not dangerous at all. So we have to be very careful that we don't somehow become afraid now of anyone with mental health issues or anyone with autism, if indeed Adam Lanza had autism. But what we do need to do is pay attention to folks who are feeling neglected, isolated, feeling in despair, and the kind of isolation that goes on for those families. Because the person with a mental illness, when they are isolated and when they're rejected and when they know that people aren't accepting them, are going to feel a lot worse.
Is that kind of the story of Adam Lanza too, where he became isolated? He didn't have a lot of contact with friends. I know he was out of the regular school system and he spent a lot of time alone. Is this one of the warning signs that people need to look for?
Sure. I think one of the real scary situations here is that his mother was alone trying to take care of him. His brother and his father were apparently out of the picture. I'm not an expert on this family, but what I can see is a desperate mother trying to take care of this grown son by herself. And here were people who were interacting with her on a regular basis. I've heard people criticizing Adam Lanza's mother, and for heaven's sake, she was murdered. Yeah. Let's drop that criticism. And let's think about whether or not we might know someone like Adam Lanza's mother and Adam, who maybe we could reach out to. We can ask, do you need any help? How are things going? How's your son doing? Is he feeling isolated? Is he connected in somehow? And you might get a response like, we're fine, because there's a lot of stigma involved in having any kind of mental illness. So they don't want to be criticized and they don't necessarily want to do a lot of sharing. But I think you can continue to ask, so how are things going? Is there anything that I can do?
And so someone like me, not a professional in the industry, but anyone who is just a friend or an acquaintance, it comes back to that thing, if you see something, say something type of thing. And people shouldn't be offended if we ask, because we're asking because we care. We're friends. We're interested.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we can, as individuals, make a difference in this effort.
We absolutely can, and in fact, we're the ones who are going to have to make an effort. And we're going to have to be the ones who make the difference because the funding isn't there.
And it seems to me that in Michigan, funding has been cut back, that we put a little less emphasis on mental health issues, and it seems like we might now be paying the price for that.
Oh yes, I think we will pay the price for that.
So as citizens, when we talk to our our elected representatives, let them know that this is one thing we think that can be done. Let's get more professional care in the mental health industries.
Right now, we have the people with the least amount of training taking care of the people with the greatest need, and that's rather backwards. That doesn't work very well.
Historically speaking, are we looking at a time where this seems to be happening more than it used to, or are we just more aware of these things, or we just have more people that create more incidences, or are we in a strange time here?
No, I think we're in a strange time in many ways. I think that the funding cuts are getting to the point where we really are going to have to start paying emotionally on a very personal level. So a lot of it's going to come back to treatment that we have to get involved in. Yes, we do. And also, I remember back in the Columbine days, and one of the parents said of their child, I didn't know he was doing that. And I thought at the time, that's not enough anymore to say you didn't know. I think you have to be more proactive and say, I know he's not doing that. In other words, you can't just let the kid play in the garage every night and go, well, I don't know what they're doing. No, you have to go out there and know what they're doing and find out what they're doing. And maybe that comes back to us just as citizens to be more proactive. And when you see someone who you think is isolated or friends that you might have issues, you're saying it's okay then to step up and say, are you okay? Yeah. Yes, and it's okay to ask parents, how is your son doing? Maybe they don't know, and maybe they do need to have a conversation about that.
The treatment facilities are out there?
No.
No?
No.
But I'm saying if we do find somebody that we think has a problem, there should be some place where we can refer them.
There are a few places, but really that's part of the problem. We don't have hospitals that will keep people like Adam Lanza, and we don't have insurance companies who are willing to pay. If you are a threat to yourself or others, you can go into the hospital. But they will just charge you fairly quickly as soon as you're not a danger anymore. And so that means private therapy, or some other kind of private hospital, but there really aren't enough facilities for people like this guy. Yeah.
So then again, as citizens, we have to. The only thing we can do is encourage our elected representatives to make sure when they're looking at those budgets, don't keep cutting mental health.
Right.
Because that doesn't help us in the end. And I think the important point you made too was to let people know that that most people with mental illnesses are not dangerous.
No.
And we shouldn't be afraid to become engaged with these people and their families. And there are organizations out there like NAMI who work with the families of people with mental illnesses that can be very valuable too.
The National Alliance of the Mentally Ill, yes.
Okay, well, I appreciate you for being on, Dr. Pelton-Cooper. I think, like I said, I think this is something we can't just let drop. And it is an effort that includes gun control. It includes dealing with mental health issues, all those things put together, and hopefully we can avoid these tragedies in the future. I appreciate you speaking up. That's a proactive approach right there, just writing a letter to the editor and coming on our show and being with us tonight. Oh, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. Okay, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk about something else you can do for yourself, so don't go away.
So, can anybody become a member at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union? That's unbelievable! Can I get a home equity loan here?
You sure can, and a car loan too.
Can I refinance my mortgage here?
You bet, and we do car loans too.
You're kidding me!
No, it's true.
Hey, can I get a car loan here too? Thanks, Monty. That was easy.
Stop in and see Mickey or Loretta at our Marquette location or visit Dan at our Harvey location. Marquette Community Federal Credit Union, home of the same-day car loans.
The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Iron Bay Computer and Design. Iron Bay gives you the quality and service you demand. And by John's Auto, voted the Reader's Choice #1 source for a used vehicle in Marquette County 7 times. No fancy slogans, just a lot of satisfied customers at John's Auto, 1004 West Washington. Okay, again, taking advantage of the resource, which is Northern Michigan University. With me is Dr. Zac Cogley from the philosophy department at Northern.
That's right.
And I asked you here to talk about vaccinations. So that I'm interested to see where the tie-in is between philosophy and vaccinations. What is the tie-in? What's the relationship?
Well, the tie-in is, so a lot of my work and thinking is about ethical and social and political issues. And so one of the classes that I teach is medical ethics. And it turns out that one of the really important issues in medical ethics is about access to medical care and medical treatment and things like that. And so I think a lot about those kinds of things. That's a lot of the stuff that I talk to my students about. And so vaccines are just one special case in that area.
I think when we think of philosophy, we think of something that is, old Greek stuff or something like that. But really, I guess there's a practical side to philosophy, and that's something that dictates our behavior day to day.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I like to say that even if you don't think about it, you sort of live a philosophy every day. You make all of these choices, and they sort of reflect values that you hold, even if you don't think about those things deeply. And part of my job is to think hard about those things and help my students get practice thinking about those things so that they can do it in a better and more sophisticated way.
Well, you wrote an article for the university paper, The Northwind, which I noticed, and it was about flu shots, encouraging people to get the flu vaccine. Well, I'm going to come clean. I've never gotten the flu shot. So
you're not alone.
I know. Well, I'm sure I'm not. Knock on wood, I've never gotten the flu either, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. I have elected not to get the flu shot, but you seem to indicate that there might be some social irresponsibility in that.
Yeah, that's my thought. So this was something that was a long time coming for me. I used to not get a flu shot. It just seemed like another inconvenience. I try to take pretty good care.
It's a shot, too.
And nobody likes needles. Yeah. And so, in the winter I would think, well, I have to make this special trip to the doctor to do this, and what are the chances I'm going to get the flu? I typically don't. So, in terms of the costs and benefits to me, better just to skip it, you know? But then I started thinking more about the phenomenon of group immunity, so the way in which somebody can benefit from not being vaccinated themselves, but to the fact that somebody else has been vaccinated. Or even if you are vaccinated yourself, the vaccine isn't 100% effective. No vaccine is. And so what's really beneficial is if you have a lot of people get the vaccine, or any vaccine, then you get lots of people who are immune, and then those people aren't passing the diseases along. And that's particularly important with the flu, because lots of people tragically do die from the flu every year. It seems to be something that not many of us who are in good health think about. But people who are elderly or people who already have significant health problems already, or children are very at risk from getting the flu. And so the fact that, say, I get the vaccine might then mean that I don't pass the flu along to somebody else who's much more likely to suffer serious repercussions.
So it's really thinking more in terms of community than in self.
That's right, that's right. And so I think if you think about the fact that a lot of people give blood, nobody gives blood for the reason that it benefits them directly, or at least almost never do. Sometimes people do before.
I get free snacks when it's over.
Yeah, so I guess there's a small benefit there. But most of the time people do it because of this desire to do good in the community and things like that. And I think that's one way you can think about the flu shot.
Yeah. This brings to mind one of the issues that came up this year there was a lot of sickness, I think, across the country.
Yeah.
And one of the issues was people were going into work sick because a lot of employers are cutting back on sick days.
That's right. Yeah.
That seems to be an issue that isn't easily resolved.
It is an issue, and I think, honestly, I'm inclined to the idea that if we should take seriously the idea that we ourselves should get vaccinated because it helps others, employers have to take seriously the idea that they need to provide sick time for their employees. Not just because it's nice for their employees, though it makes their lives much easier, but because it's bad for the customers. Whoever the business's customers are going to suffer by coming in contact with an employee who's sick, because that just transmits even more disease. So my policy in my classes, I mean, some professors are real strict about attendance, and I try to say, look, if you're really legitimately sick, please don't come. Try to take care of yourself and try to get better, and that helps everyone.
Yeah, well, nobody likes going into a store or a restaurant and dealing with one of the service people there that's, obviously got things oozing from all parts of their body, and we don't want to be near them.
Absolutely.
But that's an issue that employers have to look at too. Regarding flu shots, then, are flu shots something that you can get year-round, or is it basically something you're supposed to get before winter strikes?
Typically, it's advised to get them before winter strikes. So at this point in the year, a lot of the flu has already sort of passed around, and so at this point in the season, the benefit is not nearly as significant. So it's typically advised that you get them earlier in the fall or in the early winter before the flu really hits. But it can be beneficial even now for the sorts of reasons that I was talking about.
Sure. We just have a minute left, but I wanted to ask you about the vaccinations, general vaccinations that kids get. There's a lot of controversy now with issues. Some thought that some vaccinations with some mercury for preservative and thimerosal causes autism.
Yeah.
Do you have any information on that for us?
I feel like I don't have information that's not already out there, but I've done a bunch of reading on the issue, and it seems to me very, very, very unlikely that there is a link there. I think that it's a difficult thing to prove because you're trying to prove that something isn't happening, and that's very difficult. But to my mind, it doesn't look like there's any evidence that there's a link between vaccines and autism.
Yeah, and I think even the ingredients that they thought were actually causing the autism have been eliminated from those vaccines as well.
That's absolutely right.
So, but people still, I mean, when you talk about causing autism, parents are going to think twice before they go have their kids vaccinated. But all the research shows that that's not the case. Vaccinations still are something that your kids need to get. And
that's a great point too. And autism rates are still going up.
Yeah.
So the fact that this has been removed has not affected the rates.
Yeah. Well, I thought you tied in philosophy with healthcare and the way we take care of ourselves very well.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Zac Cogley
from
Northern Michigan University. Okay, stick around. When we come back, we're going to dance for a cause, so don't go away.
A typical week of training for me is about 120 miles a week. In 2010, I had a meniscus tear after the Twin Cities Marathon. And so when I had my injury, I didn't have a second thought of where to go. I knew Advanced Center for Orthopedics, the doctors there, a lot of them are affiliated with sports. I knew that I was in the right hands. Advanced Center for Orthopedics got me back to my passion, and I recommend them highly.
The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Cliffs Natural Resources, a global mining leader with local investment and impact. Cliffs Natural Resources. And by Reflections Hair Salon, featuring professional stylists, a family-friendly atmosphere, and prices to suit your budget. For an appointment, call Reflections at 226-0175. That's okay. Okay, as I said, we have a very educated string of guests tonight. With us is Dr. Jeff Nyquist. We had two doctors on before you, so I'm kind of pointing that out. But thanks for joining us, Jeff. The last time I saw you was at the bell ceremony that the hospice groups put together to honor loved ones who had passed on. Recall that? That was
back in November.
It was a cold day, I remember, but that was a neat event. My father had passed away earlier in the year, and it was cool to go out there and take a few moments to remember people who had been in our lives and passed on.
Yeah.
We don't always do that.
Exactly.
And also in a communal setting with other people who had had similar losses. So
yeah,
thanks for doing that.
Of course.
Appreciated that. I got to ring bells too, which was kind of fun. Right. We're going to talk about a fundraiser you have coming up called Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style. But it's going to benefit the Upper Peninsula Hospice Foundation, which is something that is kind of run out of UP Home Health and Hospice. Tell us about the Hospice Foundation and what it does.
Well, the Hospice Foundation is run by a group of community leaders, and I guess the main mission is to raise funds and raise awareness of hospice, which is really about living. And we have particular programs that support that philosophy of living, such as the Make a Memory program, and that one in particular is where we try to get to know each patient and family well enough to do something truly fantastic for them, which can be anything from providing them a family reunion through plane tickets to get everybody back and see their loved one, or something as simple as a wheelchair ramp to get them back out and being social and being alive.
Kind of like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but for hospice patients.
Right.
As I mentioned, my dad passed away. He had an experience with hospice which to the family was just invaluable. And the people that worked with him, I'm sure, are similar to the people that you have representing your organization. They become almost a part of the family.
Yeah.
And it's so important in those days that you know the end is near, but to have these people to help you get through it, that know how to deal with it, it's very valuable.
And the expertise is just crucial, because this is new to most people. Yeah. They've never dealt with this kind of thing. So to have the expertise and all the different questions that you're not accustomed to is priceless.
And you rely on a lot of volunteers for that too.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're the ones that can really get in there and be really connected to the family. There's no professional boundaries or any of those issues. They can be there for anything that the family needs. Yeah.
Well, as I said, you've got a fundraiser coming up to help raise money for the Upper Peninsula Hospice Foundation. It's going to be kind of a fun thing. We're talking about things that aren't as much fun, but this is going to be fun. It's called Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style. If you're familiar with the TV show, it's a take on that. But we're going to have 8 local couples. They're going to compete to be the winners, and there's a name for the trophy. What's the trophy called?
The Mirror Ball Trophy.
The Mirror Ball Trophy. We have 3 of the subjects that are going to be partaking in this, the 3 people behind us here. First is the coach. Here's Alex Holly, who's one of the coaches that are going to work with these teams. And then we have Jeremy Hansen and Alicia Frechette are one of the couples that are going to be dancing in this. Good luck to you guys. I credit you for taking this on. It's quite a challenge. You might be stepping out of your comfort zones a little bit, but it'll be fun. The date of this, it's a ways down the road. It's May 23rd, a Thursday night, 5:30 to 9. It's going to take place at the Forrest Roberts Theater. But this is kind of a time where we can tell people to save the date. And especially if you want to get tickets, get them early.
I think so. It's getting a lot of traction very quickly.
I think so. The website for more information about this is uphomehealth.org. You can order tickets from there. You can get all the details about the event. Jeff, who else? What are the other couples?
Yeah, so we are officially able to announce and reveal our other couples. It's Mike and Kay Angeli, Steve and Ann Asplund, Eric Dampierre, who will be accompanied by Jill Grunstrom, Jeremy Hansen and Alicia Frechette, Nina Ittner and Bobby Glenn Brown, John and Sandy Kivala, Shantae Lessard and Phil Johnson, and Elizabeth Peterson and Landon Stellwagen.
Wow, that's quite a lineup there.
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
That would be fun even if they weren't dancing. So I think that's going to be a good time. Okay, well, part of the deal is these people who are amateurs have to learn how to dance between now and then. Well, we have these people here. What we're going to do is we're going to give these people a few minutes. We're going to give Alex a couple minutes to work with Jeremy and Alicia, and we're going to see what they can come up with. How do they get started in teaching these people how to dance? Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to find out a little bit about how it works. Okay, so don't go away. When we come back, we're going to get the feet started in Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style. Don't go away.
At Bell, we understand how important your family's health is. After all, we have families too. We know that sometimes it takes more than a kiss from Mom or her chicken soup to make you all better. Bell Medical's family physicians treat you as if you were part of our family. Our families treating your family. Family practice.
City Insurance has you covered. Located on Washington Street, Marquette.
Okay, well, Alex has had a couple minutes to work with our lucky couple here, and this is the first time that they've worked with Alex, training, getting ready for Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style. We're going to see how they're doing here in just a second. I want to talk to Alicia here first. Alicia, have you ever danced professionally?
No, I have not.
Was that inappropriate? No,
I have not.
You have not, okay.
I have not.
Well, it was nice of you to say yes to do this. Your partner here is Jeremy Hansen.
Yes.
Jeremy, how about you? You looking forward to this?
Very much.
Have you ever danced professionally?
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, I want to mention Jeremy's the owner of Swanson Lundquist Funeral Home and Fossbender Funeral Home, and a good community servant, and it's nice of you to say yes to this.
Well, if I wasn't pressured at the board meeting, I would not have. That was it.
And Alicia, of course, the owner at Salon, and nice of you to do this as well.
Thank you.
I think you're going to both enjoy this very much.
It will be fun.
I would join you, but of course you can see I'm not wearing my dancing shoes. If I had known we were going to dance, I would have worn different shoes, but I would have left to. Okay, all right, we're going to give it away to Alex here. You get for lesson number 1 for Dancing with the Stars, Marquette County style. Take it away.
Yep. Yes? Got it. Okay. So we're going to count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our beat with this music. Can you keep up? 5, 6, 7, 8. Our steps, we're going to start with our left foot. We're going to go forward with our left foot. 1, 2, 3, hold 4. Right foot back. 5, 6, 7, hold 8. Can you handle that? Got it. Okay, and we're going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Come on, Jeremy.
You guys are pros already.
Oh, look at this. Jeremy's got the moves. I think Jeremy and Alicia could be the leaders, the front runners here. For those of you who want to vote early, you can do that. Visit the website, check it out.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch on Facebook
and
as these
side,
couples progress.
1, 2, 3,
and people
4,
can follow the
5,
whole progress
6,
of this thing.
7,
Start out by
8.
going to your website, and they can see what's going on. They can vote early. They can get their tickets early because this is going to sell out, I'm sure, with the couples that you have here.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Back to the front.
It's good that we're documenting now because they're going to be professionals in 2.5 months.
You know what? It's going to be fun to see how well they progress. They've made great strides, no pun intended, here in just the first 5 minutes.
How about we do a little hip circle?
Oh, she's getting complicated now.
Can we roll the hips in a circle?
Okay, folks, we're just about out of time here, but we're going to let Alex keep working with Alicia and Jeremy.
Right.
I want to thank you for joining us this week on the Doug Garrison Show. I want to thank our guests. We had Dr. Mary Pelton-Cooper and Dr. Zac Cogley, Dr. Jeff Nyquist, and our Dancing with the Stars contestants here, Marquette County style. We'll see you again next week right here on the Doug Garrison Show. Keep going, kids.